happened under that tent unless they don't want to see it and they don't want to know, because you have to, there is a cause and effect. What made Karmelo Anthony jump out of that tent? It was your push and your power and your weight. All right, investors. All right, viewers, investors. Hey, happy Saturday, happy Saturday, happy Saturday. As I said, as long as Karmelo Anthony is behind bars, we're going to continue to push on a daily basis. Okay? So the CSI perspective, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to discuss what Texas is known for. I just found this out. Maybe you know exactly what I'm about to, maybe you've seen this information before, but I'm going to go ahead and present it like I always present the information once I do my due diligence. Hold one, how to give it today. Because since Collins County, they refuse to do any forensics work, I go ahead and do it as a layman. And I'm going to go ahead and give you my opinion on what I research. And I'm going to show you, because it seems like a lot of people don't understand what the word assault means. To me, I found out a lot of people don't understand the difference between weight and the importance of different weight classes. But I'm going to show them exactly why Karmelo Anthony, at the weight of 130, at the weight of 130, he had all the right to self-defend himself regarding anything that he could have picked up at any time in that scuffle. All right, so we're going to go ahead and begin. Starting with the Karmelo Anthony case. Hold on. But thank you, racist. I'm activated. Thank you. I'm activated. Now, here's just some of the thumbnails over the videos that I've done. First, motivated by Karmelo Anthony, because today is the 6th day that we've heard notification of his powerful legal team. I really think that that team was already assembled and we just got notification of it this past Monday. So it has been 6 days. Team behind the scenes, Karmelo Anthony legal team. This is what I do, what I am liking as of right now. You're not saying nothing. You're not giving updates. You're not making posts. You're not having a representative update. Nobody on a daily basis. So keep doing what you're doing behind the scenes. And the first time that I want to see anybody from the Karmelo Anthony case is when it is announced that Karmelo Anthony was released on appeal bond or appeal and dismissal, whatever they want to call it. That's the first time I want to hear from anybody from Karmelo Anthony legal team, is when the work was already done. So in the meantime, continue to do what you're doing. The community is behind you. We're going to be patient. We already know that you already got it in your hands, because I've been seeing what the main screen media has been saying about this team, and y'all, they are shaking. They are shaking regarding the lead Merritt team that he assembled. Oh, if you want a reminder, here's a reminder. Oh, here's some of these thumbnails. Let me keep going through these thumbnails, because I'm not gonna keep you long. I'm not gonna keep you long. Oh, and I do want to remind you before I go into the lawyers that was assembled, because it seemed like these people, I even had somebody come under my comment and saying, oh, Karmelo Anthony don't have legal weapons. You want to bet? I want to remind y'all once again, the Department of Justice prosecutes violations under federal law, such as civil right violations. We already know the Karmelo Anthony civil rights have, forget the word violated. I have to come up with another word of what this case has done to the American justice system. Department of Justice, I hope you are taking notes, because of what has happened in this case. So many civil right violations have occurred. Listen, Karmelo Anthony will get his own law. He will have a law in his name after this whole entire case is resolved. Just watch me. Now, go to number 2. civil rights violations by state actors, such as the Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. We also talking about Judge Roach. We also talking about the prosecutor Greg Willis, and also the defense attorney Mike Howard. Department of Justice may intervene if there is evidence that a person's constitutional rights were violated. Here we go. When they are concerns about witness intimidation, threats, and objections to justice, the case generates significant public unrest and national attention. Come on, Department of Justice. I have already heard that you're on the ground, aka investigating a potential hate crime or Karmelo Anthony attacks against a white woman. Y'all, as I said in my last live, I think that's total BS, because we don't operate like that, and we ain't even focused on attacking nobody. All our attention is trying to get Karmelo Anthony out of that cell, which his lawyers is going to do. And now since he has a legal team, the only thing we have to do is, because as you see, the mainstream media is starting to not really report on this case as it was before his team was announced. So I think the mainstream media is already starting to try to bury the attention of this case. That's why that we on these social media platforms do not get uninterested in this case right here. Do not. They want us to forget this case by not reporting on it. That's why grassroots on X, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, continue to watch the videos, continue to like the videos, and continue to comment on the videos, because as you see, it's getting very quiet. It's getting very quiet in mainstream media regarding this case. And if I can't come back tonight, I'm definitely going to come back tomorrow afternoon, because there is one person with I'm going to say with over 2 million followers. Oh, you are an issue because you are spreading lies. You are spreading lies. And I'm going to give you attention. I'm going to give you attention tomorrow. I'm definitely coming back tomorrow and give you attention. Gotcha. Let me keep reading. The case generates significant public unrest or national attention. Well, it seemed like somebody has lied that the Karmelo Anthony followers, supporters have jumped on quote unquote a white woman. So as you see, this case is started to gander public unrest and national attention. Okay. Questions arise about whether constitutional rights were violated during an investigation or prosecution. 5 to 15 years, very lenient, rare for intentional murders. Listen, I want y'all to focus on this word intentional, because we know that he did not intend it to hurt anybody. This was a self-defense case all the way. This should have never even went to trial. But I want to show you that there's so many people out there and mainstream media and all these articles they have wrote, they have, how can I say it, programmed AI to see the Karmelo Anthony case as intentional. I didn't generate this information, AI did. They're seeing Karmelo Anthony case as an intentional murderer. This is how they programmed it. But that's why we and everybody behind all these videos and comments and likes, we're going to continue to say free Karmelo Anthony. And please, when you can in the comments, put wrongfully convicted. Wrongfully convicted. Because you know what? AI, if you don't know how AI generates, it starts to feed and ingest all of the data. So what we can do, we can start confusing AI. We can start rewriting the narratives that even AI is putting out here. Instead of saying intentional murderer, AI can say, well, now there's doubt because public is starting to say that he was wrongfully convicted. I'm trying to tell you, we can control AI and reprogram it by saying free Karmelo Anthony and wrongfully convicted. But hold on. 20 years often reflects significant mitigation or a successful sudden passion finding. Mike Howard, you didn't even push for that. You didn't even push for that, Mike Howard. When that young man was up in those stands and in distress, but guess what? I'm glad you didn't, because it probably would be a different story right now on social media, but we still probably would have fought it. We still would have fought it. And then you look at the 35 years, which is where they sentenced him at. Let's read. Moderately severe. Moderately severe. This is Karmelo Anthony. Within the range often seen as an intentional murderer. Convictions. AI believes that Karmelo Anthony, based off the rhetoric from mainstream media and all of these articles, and when other people get on these social websites and they put these words out there in the atmospheres and in the chats, AI picked this up. That's why I'm saying, I'm going to say in 4 days, we can confuse AI like it's never been confused before. We can go ahead and start programming AI. So every time you put a comment out there, now or after the video, in everybody videos that report on Karmelo Anthony, put wrongful conviction, wrongfully convicted. So I think if they don't get it by now that God is in this case, their eyes are blind on purpose. Their ears is closed on purpose. And God has hardened their hearts for a time like this. God is going to show his mighty work. But we have to also continue to pray. And we have to, how can I say it? Don't the Bible say faith without works is dead? Let's keep pushing. Let's keep pushing, Black America, because the world is watching. I promise you. To the next slide. And to all the haters and the racists that said that Karmelo Anthony does not have any weapons for his legals team, here's a reminder. Here's a reminder. Oh, this is just a copy of what we already went over. Here we go. Now, for all the haters in the room, before I go into this forensics, and I'm gonna let you go, okay? Now, I just want to remind you, this is the official arrest record for Karmelo Anthony. It says that he is 5'8" and his weight is 130. Now, we already know that he was definitely smaller than Metcalf, but I'm about to bring this home, okay? This is the official arrest record. We've been over that. And I come back to the perjury. I come back to the perjury in the next live. But if you've been following my lives, you already know I've covered this in detail, okay? Now, let's go over here. Now, this is where I want to get to when I say I'm going to be doing the Layman's Forensics CSI Analysis and Review that Collins County didn't do. Or if they did, they could, how can I say, they was restricted. And if you don't believe me, hold on. Listen to this. And shout out to Miss Down Low. Shout out to Miss, I'm sorry, LowDownn. My bad, sister. LowDownn, Miss LowDownn. Where it is. Here you go.
So this woman right here talking about the room where he was stuck at. Y'all, I want y'all to hear this part. It's very important.
She didn't testify about the angle. What she said was it was an angle that was not specifically vertical and or horizontal. She testified that the penetration wound was 2.5 inches in length and the knife was 3.5 inches in length, and that the vascular access lines present, the stab wound, the external stab wound to the chest, on the left side, it perforated the pericardial sac, the heart. It penetrated the right ventricle of the heart. So what does that mean? She said basically the reason Austin had his wound was classified classified as gaping is because there was a breakage of the skin, and when that happens with the stab wound, it's pulled apart, and which is why the kids. So the knife went through the heart wall, but she did not give a specific degree of measurement regarding the angle. She said it was an awkward angle. That's on the record.
So they said in court that Austin was stuck at an awkward angle, but they wouldn't let them go into details because they didn't want them to know that the angle that he was stuck in was an angle, and this is what the professionals said. They expert that came out. They said that Karmelo, was basically defending himself. This is what the professional said, the expert witness said, as far as the angle of what he was stuck at, y'all. This other person is saying something else. Listen.
Let me tell you off the record what I have been told by a very reliable source. What I've been told is that Karmelo did communicate to his defense team that when he stabbed Austin Metcalf, Austin had him in a headlock. And that's why that could explain the angle of the wound, because he was in a headlock.
Okay, y'all. Do y'all see the more and more information that's coming out? It's looking more and more like Karmelo was fighting for his life, basically.
Ooh.
These little demons, they
fighting for his life.
Talking about
Karmelo Anthony was fighting for his life. Oh, we're about to get into this, and I'm about to let you go. Karmelo Anthony was fighting for his life. Hold on. Karmelo Anthony was fighting for his life. Now listen, it seems like they don't want us to defend ourselves. And it seems like, and the timing is perfect, but it seems like that it's okay for them to teach their kids to defend themselves. Hold on. You don't got to believe me. Hold on before I go into my information. Now, this father is not speaking on this particular case right here, but he is describing a case with his 5-year-old son. 5-year-old son. Now, listen to what they're telling their community regarding bullying. So I guess it only applies to their community. And I just want to give this disclaimer. This dad is not speaking on this case. He's just, how can I say it? He is sharing the experience and the conversation that he had with his child in school at the age of 5 about somebody bullying him. Hold on. So they can do it, but we can't. Hold on.
A 5-year-old is suspended from school for fighting. And evidently, I didn't react to the situation the way that the school administration thought I was going to. I get a phone call, I'm at work. Principal says, hey, your son got in a fight at school today. All right, is he okay? And he's fine. We're going to need you to come in and talk about it. You want me to come in before school tomorrow or after school today, or how you want to handle this? And he said, well, no, you got to come right now because your son's not going to be able to stay in school today. I said, well, you just told me he was fine. No, he is fine, sir, but he's going to have to be removed from school today. So not fully understanding what the problem is. I leave work and I go to the school to have our little sit-down powwow. And you got the principal, you got the assistant principal, you got a counselor, you got a school nurse, and you got my son, and you got this other kid. Okay? And I look at my son, I say, you all right, son? He said, yes, sir. I said, all right. The principal, kind of steps in between and starts talking. I said, no, sir, hold on. I said, son, what happened here today? And my son proceeds to tell me the story. He said, this kid right here was picking on me at recess. And he wouldn't stop. And I said, son, did you ask him to stop picking on you? He said, yes, sir. I said, how many times did you ask him to stop picking on you? He said, one time, sir. Did he hear you ask? He said, yes, sir, he did. I turned to the principal and I says, hey, so what's the problem here? The principal goes on to tell me, look, we cannot promote this kind of behavior in the schools. And I said, I agree completely. Bullies should be reprimanded for their actions. I have absolutely no discord with that. I agree 100%. Kind of puzzled, the principal looks at me, he says, no, well, yeah, you can't have bullying, but we can't have fighting at school. The kid was bullying my son. My son asked the child to stop. The child did not, and he felt the repercussions of his actions. I don't see the problem here. He said, we have a zero tolerance for fighting. I said, this wasn't a fight. Clearly, my son beat the crap out of this kid. This bully. He said, your son's going to be suspended for 3 days. I said, is that so? He said, yes, sir. We can't have fighting in the school, no matter what. He should have told the teacher. Well, what was the kid doing to bully him? He said, well, we don't exactly know. And I said, so how do you know that he was able to tell teacher? What if the kid was in his way? What if the kid was pushing him? What if the kid had hands on my son? I said, if you don't know the situation, how are you going to reprimand my son when you don't know what happened? Zero tolerance policy, sir. He got a 3-day suspension. I said, that's fine. Not a problem at all. I turned to my son. I looked at the kid that he beat up. And the kid that he beat up, I said, son, I'll tell you one thing. You'll think twice before you bully my son again. I turned to my son. I gave him knuckles right there in the principal's office in front of everybody. I said, son, I'm proud of you. I said, you are suspended from school for 3 days. I said, you got a 3-day vacation. It's hunting season. Let's get out of here.
Did you hear how this man, like I said, he was not commenting on the Karmelo Anthony Austin Metcalf story. He was just, and that came out a day ago, about how he got called to the school because his son had defended himself against a bully. And did you hear the question that he said when he asked his son? He said, well, did you tell him the not to touch him? He said, yes, sir. And basically that was it. Do you see how they see regarding bullying in their community? But we bet not never stand up to bullying in our community. He even said, well, what's the issue? He's talking to the principal. He said, well, there's a zero tolerance policy and he should have told the teacher. So the dad said, well, how do you know that he could have told the teacher? He said, what if he was surrounded? Karmelo Anthony. He said, what if he couldn't get away? Karmelo Anthony. He said, well, do you know if the bully pushed my son? Karmelo Anthony. He said his son basically had the right to defend himself from a bully. Now, like I said, he wasn't speaking on this case, but the timing was perfect. And his son was 5 years old. They're teaching, and I think every family, black, white, whatever the color is, you have a right to tell your kids, don't let nobody put their hands on you. And once you give that warning, now that dad said, well, did you tell the kid to leave you alone? And he said, yes, sir. That's the same thing that Karmelo Anthony said to Austin Metcalf. Don't put your hands on me. Woo, I can still hear his voice and his cry in my head. So I can only imagine, woo, Karmelo Anthony's cries in that courtroom. Y'all, I was speaking to a friend and I'm starting to get chills right now. I was speaking to a friend's last week this time when we were discussing the video and the police video. When you heard Karmelo Anthony cry, it was like something spiritual in there. It was like a woe from a spiritual realm. When I heard this cry, I said, that's not the normal cry of a young boy. It was like a cry. It was like a cry from his spirit and his soul when he said, I told him not to put his hands on me. He said, I told him not to put his hands on me. But when Karmelo Anthony said, I told him not to put his hands on me, they saw that as provocation. But this dad said, my son warned him not to put his hands on him. So why can't our sons and our daughters give people warning and say, don't put your hands on me. Don't put your hand on us. especially when we're not even doing nothing. Don't put your hand on us. But you see, and I'm going to commend that father. He's teaching his son that before the age of 5. Warn them. Tell them don't put their hands on you. And if that bully put his hands on you, take care of it. And I stand with that father. He said, when the principal said, well, he's suspended for 3 days. Did you hear what the father said? The father said, he got a 3-day vacation. Come on, son, let's go hunting. Teach your kids. Don't never let nobody put their hands on them. I don't care if they're scared and timid after this case. Tell them don't be afraid. Don't let nobody put your hands on. Let's keep going. Now, this right here, I've showed you in the arrest record and only got 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes, I'm gonna let you go. Karmelo Anthony was 130 pounds. Austin Metcalf was 220 to 230 pounds. The reason why I know that because his mother said that last year outside of the house with Hunter in the yard that it was her 220 plus baby. So that means that Karmelo Anthony had Austin Metcalf 220 pounds and Hunter's 220 pounds. That's 440 pounds standing up against this young man and not counting the weight of the 2 other friends. Where Tony Talks Vested Up, I forgot what her name is, Megan Callie said it was just a track student having an issue with another track student. No, it wasn't. Based off the weight category of, what's his name? Austin, he was 220 pounds. When have you ever seen a 220 pound sprinter? When have you seen somebody run the 2x4 or the 1x100 or the 200 or the 800 or the relays 220 pounds? At best, Austin, he probably did shot put. He probably just did shot put. But he definitely was not a runner, and he was expelled the week before. But let's keep going. Now, I just want to set the stage. Here we go. Now, regarding this right here, so do y'all see how wide this is? Now, I brought this up here. Now, let me show you where I got this information from. Because, hey, there is some information available to the public. Hold on. I shouldn't have never closed it. 1 second. Come on, StreamYard. I'm finna show you exactly where I pulled these pictures from. And you already may know it, but I didn't. So, hold on. I'm gonna try to go ahead and go to this website. Because y'all, guess what? The following pictures that I'm going to show you actually came from the website. And you may already have them by now. You may have already had them. But if not, here is the records. I have not had time to go over the audio or the video. But these are the pictures. Hold on. And I'm going to share my screen. And to the chats, I don't want to get I want to stay right here on these slides. And I'm going to come back to the chats and I'm going to let y'all go. All right, come on with it. Let me go and share my screen. Where I'm going to show you where you can get this information. Here's the case number and everything. All right, come on, StreamYard. There we go. Collins County, Texas, tx.gov. Information for the trial, State of Texas versus Karmelo Sincere Anthony. Cause number should have been case number 296-835-565-2025. And here go updates. It was updated. Y'all, look at this. It was updated May 31st, 2026. But like I said, y'all may have already had this, but I didn't. And y'all, look, it's coming from the actual courthouse. It has the exhibits, it has information, and it has photos, audios, video group 1, 2, 3, 4. So go ahead and download. Y'all already know. Listen, after this live, go ahead and download because you know how they are. They may take it down. They may remove the attachments, okay? So let's keep going. So if you say, well, Tony Talks Vested Up, where these pictures coming from? This is exactly where the pictures came from, off of their own website, okay? Here we go. Now, let me go back to my slides. Now, this is what I want to show you. Now, I want you to pay attention because I didn't know this. Directly behind where the incident occurred, I said, well, why they don't got no video cameras footage from that side? So I'm started looking in the background, and you mean to tell me that pole there that's facing the actual baseball field, they don't have a camera angle pointing directly at the visitor stand towards the home side of the field? You can't tell me they don't. Collins County, FISD, where's that footage at? Because I know you got cameras that points down on the visitor stand. You got to, right? Because you're protecting students, right? This is part of the school campus, right? Y'all, there's no way in 2026 that school only had one camera for that whole entire football field. There is footage missing. So I'm pretty sure that when this case is appealed and go to retrial, there is going to be actual more video footage that come out from this particular angle, right? So let's keep going. Let's keep going here. Now, I want to bring this up right here because I'm finna hit you with something. Now, the next photos is not going to be graphic, but I need to tell you exactly what it is. And if you go to that website under pictures, they actually got the womb that was delivered to Austin Metcalf, okay? Now, I want to show you this. So they want us to believe, right? And in that testimony, so I should have said allegedly, if Karmelo Anthony was the one that gave him the blow, I think he would have had more than that particular drop of blood on his finger. Okay, so let's keep going. So Austin Metcalf have 100 pounds on Karmelo Anthony. That means that he has a lot more blood. Well, they said that all humans got 8 pounds of blood, but you know where I'm going. That means that there should have been more fluids on Karmelo Anthony, his front, his back, his side. But we did see Eddie take off his tracksuit on the ground and he bundled them up. I'm pretty sure it was blood on a lot of people, but why it wasn't blood on the quote unquote the attacker? But let's keep going. Let me continue to paint this picture. Right here. Now, this is the hoodie that we all know that Karmelo Anthony was arrested in. Essentials, fear of God. Now, I want to show you this. Listen, I want to show you this, right? Because what you just heard, and I love you so much, Miss LowDownn, and trust me, I follow your content. I know that you don't come up with no clickbait or nothing. So that's why I'm going to say allegedly to that audio clip that I played from her channel. Because, as she said, and I want you guys to support that video, that Karmelo Anthony is reporting to his lawyers that Austin had him in the headlock. Well, this is where forensics come in. So that's why I'm going to say alleged, because we didn't hear nothing from Karmelo. His lawyer didn't even allow him to testify, and we didn't hear this officially, right? But I have an issue with that, right? If Karmelo Anthony was in the headlock, and I'm going to show you this, but essential fear of God, I just want to take note. Do you see any blood spatter on the shoulders, on the hoodie, anywhere on that hoodie? Especially, I want you to focus here on both of the shoulders, because if that is true, you got to consider both shoulders, because we don't know what side that Austin would have grabbed him, right? Watch this. Now, this is the knife. Now, I had an issue with this tool, and I'm sorry, the knife. But looking at the actual wound, which I'm not going to show that. But looking at, and it was only one single blow that was only 2 inches. It does look like this was the instrument or the knife that somebody plugged into Austin. Based off that wound, I actually can see the shape. I saw the wound myself. They got it in exhibit. I forgot what exhibit it was. Hold on. I can go in and tell you right now because it's in my phone, but I'm not going to show it. I'm definitely not going to show that over here. But that looks like, to me, the naked eye. I didn't get the exhibit, but it's definitely in there. It actually looks like the weapon that was used against Austin, right? But this is my point. So we already looked at this. Now this is where forensics come into play. And I don't know who was the medical examiner or the forensics person, but they didn't do their job, because I'm gonna punch holes in their case. As I stated, you don't see no blood on the back of this. So even if Austin had Karmelo Anthony in the headlock, blood would have spattered in the shoulders and the back and the top of the hoodie. Where is the blood? Where is the blood? He had one nick on his finger, and that could have been because of the fall, but who knows? We shall see. Now let me keep moving forward, then I'm gonna let you go. So these are just pictures of the knife, and I looked at all the pictures. They do not show the other side of the knife. They keep showing the same side of the knife in all the exhibits. Now, if you go and look at all of those pictures, let me know if I missed it, but they keep showing that one side of the knife, and a lot of people speculated and has said the other side of the knife has an M in it. I could not confirm that because they don't have no pictures of the other side of the knife, which is why I think they did not bring it into court for the jurors to see that. But let's keep going. Now, this is what forensics should have did. Since some people can't get it in their mind about the classes of body weight, okay? Here we go. Hold on, I missed one. Now, this is partially graphic, but it's just showing the clothes that Austin was in, okay? But if Austin clothes had this much fluids on it, why Karmelo Anthony clothes has none of it? Hold on. Okay, here it is. Now, this is actually part of the files that I just took you to. Now, you see that Austin has a cut right here. I'm going to say next to the left nipple, right? On the side of his chest, right? This is the actual drawing. You see Collins County medical examiner, right? And you see the case number, right? And it was only one wound, right? Now, you see all this blood here? Now the whole entire, I didn't get the other one because it was a lot more fluids on those clothing items, and I didn't want to show that here. But if Austin, once again, if Austin, based on them clothes, the blood was coming out, why was Karmelo's Anthony clothes so clean? Now also, this is what I want to show. Let me blow this up real quick, if I can. Here we go. I hope y'all can see that. I want y'all to see this tag. Do y'all see this tag? Whoo! If Karmelo Anthony was 130, look at the size of clothes that Austin Metcalf was wearing. A 3X. That was a big boy. And they asking why he just didn't walk away when he's surrounded by football players, even though he was a football player himself. Do y'all see how big Austin Metcalf was? He was wearing a 3X, pushing up on a young man that was only 130 pounds. And they said that Karmelo Anthony, he should have, what they said, what they call it, the proportionality rule. So you think that somebody pushing you with 220 pounds is going to be have the same force as somebody from 130 pounds pushing against a body like that? Karmelo Anthony, one thing that I do agree with Miss LowDownn, he was fighting for his life. Even if they had him in the headlock. Now, this is my theory, and I'm going to go into my theory. I don't think he stabbed him. I'm sorry. Because one thing I also agree with that audio clip, it was at a strange angle. It was at a strange angle. When Tony Talks Vested Up, what you talking about? This is what I'm about to tell you. If Austin had Karmelo Anthony in a headlock from the left or the right, So let's just say he grabbed him from the left. And let's just say Karmelo Anthony was left. How could he go up with a knife to hit him in the chest? Because if he had him in the headlock, he would be low to the ground. This is forensics. This is forensics, right? He would have had him low to the ground. That means if he had anything, he would have chopped that, his legs or his thighs or his groin area or his pelvic. So that means that Karmelo Anthony definitely couldn't hit him with the left hand if he attacked him from the left. Well, Tony Talks Vested Up, what if he attacked him from the left and Karmelo Anthony was right-handed? Well, if I'm down, I don't think my arm would be long enough to cross my face and go all the way up, and he was 6 feet. That doesn't work for me. Once again, I would definitely be taking that object and I'll be chopping away at the thighs or the legs if you got me in a headlock. What Tony Talks Vested Up with, what if Austin had him for the right and Karmelo Anthony is right-handed? Once again, if I'm bent over, how can I twist my arm to go upward at that angle? How? Well, Tony Talks Vested Up, what if Austin came from the right and Karmelo was left-handed? It ain't gonna happen, y'all. So this is my theory right here. This is my theory as a layman, because I took forensics and CSI in college. This is where I think somebody else did it. I'm so sorry. Now, if Austin was attacking Karmelo and they was beating him and we saw the multiple assailants jump on Karmelo Anthony, I think there was somebody in that scuffle, one of the Metcalf brothers, if it is their knife, they dropped it. And somebody saw an opportunity to pick it up. And while they was beating on Karmelo, come across Austin's shoulder and deliver that hit. Because I just showed you, if Karmelo was in a headlock, from the left or the right, he couldn't get his arms at that strange angle. That's why I think when Austin had Karmelo down and they was beating him, somebody took the prime opportunity to come across his shoulder and look at the angle of that chest. Karmelo Anthony, once again, if Karmelo Anthony would have hit him in the chest like that, his whole entire hoodie definitely would have had splats. The head, especially if the head was down in the headlock. Where Tony Talks Vested Up. Well, what if Karmelo Anthony was standing up, right? And Austin grabbed him by his head. Once again, the arms can only have a certain range of movement. I still wouldn't be able to do this. If I was swinging like this and I'm in a headlock, that means that the knife would have went past his ear. He would have been cut right here. Or the same thing, I wouldn't even be able to, if anything, if it was this arm and he had me from this side, that means that the tool, it would have been hitting him up here, but not here. And y'all, it just don't make sense. It don't make sense. And he had no blood. So even if he was going like this, the blood would have been on this side of the shirt. He had no blood on his shirt. And these are their pictures. And even with the knowledge that I took in college, I just punch holes in their whole defense. Karmelo Anthony. Look at the angle. Look at the angle. If it's true that they had Karmelo Anthony in a headlock, it doesn't fit forensics. It doesn't fit the science. It don't fit the science. And if he was going straight, well, Tony Talks Vested Up, what if that person is lying, right? And what, let's say if it was back to back. They said Karmelo Anthony never got up out of the seat except for when he crab walked out of the, ran out the back of the tent. He never got up. He never got up. He never got up. Well, Tony Talks Vested Up. Well, what if everything is wrong? What if Karmelo Anthony at 1:30 went directly towards Austin Metcalf and hit him in the chest? Well, you wouldn't come at that angle. Why would you go like this if you're right-handed? Wouldn't you go like this? did y'all see my demonstration? If y'all didn't see my demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to demonstrate it one more time. If Austin would have grabbed Karmelo from either side in a headlock, there's no way that Karmelo Anthony would have delivered the knife in his chest at that angle with the left hand or the right hand. It's impossible. Left or the right side. And if so, it would have been blood on the shoulders. Now, if Karmelo Anthony was bent over in the headlock, that means Karmelo Anthony with the weapon, he would have been hitting him in the groin or the thighs or the legs. He wouldn't have had the arm movement and a height to hit him. Austin was 6 feet in the chest. If anything, he would have stuck him in the stomach or lower. Right? He's only 5'8". He's only 5'8". Now, if my last thing was, if Karmelo Anthony went towards him directly, why would he hit him at an angle? If he's left-handed or right-handed, won't you go like this? Y'all, it's not adding up. And once again, where is the blood that would have been on his gray hoodie? It's not that the hoodie was black. The hoodie is light gray. Where is the blood in this case? Where is the blood in this case? Now, and I'm almost done. I got one more slide. Now, for all of the people that said that Karmelo Anthony could have pushed Austin back. Once again, Karmelo Anthony was 130 pounds. The weight that he could have pushed Austin back by sitting down was unmatched for Austin, who was 6 feet and 220 pounds. Well, this is why you have weight classes. If the legal defense, if they would have at least took in consideration and give the jury the same evidence that I'm about to show you as an example, it should have been not guilty. This case shouldn't even went to trial. Now, Karmelo Anthony was considered a super featherweight. A super featherweight. We're talking about Floyd Mayweather Jr., Manny Pacquiao, and look at Floyd Money Mayweather. Early career, and Manny Pacquiao. They are very small and slim. Now, let's see where Austin falls at and his brother falls at. Lightweight is 135 pounds. That's Benny Leonard and Pernell Whitaker. Super lightweight, 140 pounds. That is Aaron Pryor, Josh Taylor. A weatherweight, that is, weatherweight is 147. That's Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Floyd Money Mayweather. Now, super weatherweight, 154 pounds. Do you see where I'm going? That's your Oscar De La Hoya. Your middleweight, right? That is 160. Bernard Hopkins. Let's go to the next slide. Since some people can't get it in their mind regarding these weight differences. Weatherweight, 147. We already did that. Here we go. Middleweight, Bernard Hopkins. Super middleweight, 68 pounds. You see the names. Andre Ward. Light heavyweight, 170 pounds. Austin Metcalf, we haven't even reached his category. Light heavyweight, 175 pounds. Archie Moore, Roy Jones Jr. Cruiserweight, 200 pounds. That means Austin Metcalf didn't even fall into this category. That's Evander Holyfield. Austin Metcalf was bigger and heavier than Evander Holyfield. And they want us to believe that Karmelo Anthony, sitting at 130, early career, Floyd Money Mayweather weight, was able to push off Evander Holyfield. Now, this is where Austin Metcalf, this is where he will fall. Heavyweight, over 200 pounds. That is your Muhammad Ali, your Mike Tyson, and your Lennox Lewis. And you mean to tell me that the public perception is, and anybody is saying that Karmelo Anthony should have defended himself or pushed back off of Austin Metcalf, Do you think Floyd Money Mayweather would have the strength to fight off a Muhammad Ali? That's illegal in boxing. Do you think a Floyd Money Mayweather would be able to fight off a Mike Tyson? Do you think a Floyd Money Mayweather in his early career or even the weight class he's now in is able to fight off a Lennox Lewis? It is illegal. So for all of these people that said that that Karmelo Anthony should have just pushed him back where? Austin had an additional 100 plus pounds on him. And we already know his brother confronted him and the two other friends had him surrounded. So we could be talking about 220, that's 440. And let's say that it was the weight of Karmelo Anthony. 130 and 130, that's 260. 260 plus 440, yo, that's damn near 700 pounds they wanted Karmelo Anthony to get away from. 700 pounds against one small, and even the students call him skinny. That was what in the arrest records. All of the witnesses say how they described him: black male, puffy hair, skinny. And you think that he could defend himself against 700 pounds of weight? Now, if it is illegal for somebody, a heavyweight, such as a Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, to even fight somebody, Evander Holyfield, Roy Jones Jr., who has Oscar De La Hoya, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, Floyd Money Mayweather. Hold on. And if in the boxing world it's saying it's illegal to fight somebody, oh gosh. Do y'all see the names? Do y'all see where I'm going? So if it's illegal in the boxing world, you got grown people believing that Karmelo Anthony should have just pushed back on Austin, Hunter, and the two other people that surrounded him, y'all. And I rest my case. No blood, no forensics. They even could have took my slides and showed the defense. But I do agree. That is the wound. This is the knife that delivered the fatal blow. Based off, like I said, you can go to the website and actually look at the picture itself. I'm not going to show that here. And look at the blood, from the whole entire track uniform. But even by this picture alone, you can see how much blood was in Austin's clothes. This was on the inside. This was on the inside. And you mean to tell me Karmelo Anthony, he was the one that did the poking, but his whole entire clothes is blood free? Because he didn't change it, but we definitely saw Eddie change it. We saw Eddie change clothes, and Hunter even said he went home to change clothes. Now, Hunter, what you going home to change clothes for? Because they did not pronounce Hunter as deceased at the stadium. I showed you in the arrest record, they didn't declare Hunter had passed away into the hospital at 10:56. So that means that his brother was still, remember they said they was working on him. And they did not leave the stadium until he was resuscitated, or whatever the medical term is. So that means Hunter and his father, Jeff, the one that's going on all of these interviews and crying, why y'all did not immediately go to the hospital? But you went home to go change clothes. Let me tell you one thing. If it was somebody I love, or even a friend, and I'm going to say even a stranger that I had empathy for, I would have got in that ambulance, or I would have followed them to the hospital just to make sure they was okay. Blood stained and all. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I just Now, I didn't mean to say that Hunter was bloodstained. I'm just saying he said he had to go home and change his clothes. So if he didn't have his brother's DNA on his clothes, you mean to tell me he had to go change clothes because his clothes got wet because of the rain? Did you really have to go home and change clothes because you got wet in the rain? Oh, it's for another issue. But hey, it is what it is. I'm gonna go to the comments, but I gotta beg the question. This is not the whole entire clothing that Austin had on, and you see the amount of blood that was on the inside, right? Because you see the tag, he was 3X. So where is the blood on Karmelo Anthony clothing? Now, Karmelo Anthony is fast. I'm going to give him that. But he could not outrun that blood spatter. He could not outrun blood splatter. On the wrists, on the shoulders, even if he was getting away. Bear crawling back or crab crawling out, blood would have came down on the front of his clothes. Where is the blood? And you mean to tell me that Mike Howard, and I'm just a layman, right? But I did take forensics and CSI in college, right? But you mean to tell me Mike Howard, and he didn't call in any experts. So Mike Howard, why you didn't call any forensics experts? I don't have a certification. I don't have a degree in this. But when you put the pieces together, and thank you, Collins County, for putting out these pictures, because I was able to just go ahead and punch holes into your case with just the pictures that you provide the public. Y'all, they put the information out there, but they said black people can't read. They said black people wouldn't even go out here because, hey, I don't know how they feel about black people there, but all of these pictures are out here, y'all. Once again, let me go in and share the website because I still got it up. And the pictures of the actual womb is there. And when I looked in the womb, I still can see the tissue. I don't see bone. I don't see, oh my gosh, I can't look. It's not even that gross. It's not even that gross. So once again, what did he pass away from? I'm going to share my screen again. Hold on. What did he pass away with? Here's the website. And I'm about to end this live in 10 minutes. Only been in, 1 hour and 39 minutes. I'm going to go through the comments for the last 10 minutes, next 10 minutes. Here's the website. All right, you could just Google this. State of Texas, Karmelo Sincere Anthony. Here's the case number. Collins County. Y'all definitely did a rush job. It's not a cause number. It's a case number. Come on, Collins County. Information for the trial, state of Texas. You see it here. But look when it was updated. May 31st, 2026. And here are the photos. It's a zip file, the audio, zip files. And you got group, video group 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead and start downloading this. Go ahead and start downloading these files because who knows, by the end of the day, it could have been taken down or you may get a website not found. Because they'll put the information out here. Before the trial was what? Well, I know the verdict was June the 9th. But y'all, go ahead and download this stuff. Go ahead and download this stuff. And like I said, hold on, let me go in and, matter of fact, I'll go in and put it in the chat. There we go. Here's the link. I just dropped the link in there. Go ahead, y'all. And once again, based off this right here, if this was the blood inside of Austin Metcalf clothes on the inside, because you see the label, where is the blood on the outside of Karmelo Anthony gray hoodie sweatshirt? Because it's light gray. He didn't have nothing on his pants because you know why? Because it would have been an exhibit. Once you go into the photos, they're going to have about 58 photos. Not one time besides that gray shirt, not one time did I see, I'm sorry, on the front of Karmelo's shirt right here, it's like a small smidget of like red stuff. I'm sorry that. But you don't see no blood spatters, no pores, no nothing. You see like a little smear, which I think he could have got that cut when he fell down the stairs and, you know, probably did that, you know, but it's nothing regarding even the blood patterns. Y'all remember blood patterns, all of those shapes in this picture that you see, those are blood splatters. You don't see no splatter on Karmelo's front, back, hoodie, sleeves, nothing. But do you see what's on the inside of Austin's clothes? Hold on, I think I got another slide here. 1 second. I think I missed one thing. Since they want to say that yes, here we go. Now, regarding the heat of passion and this first degree murder charge that they gave him, right? And remember at the beginning of the live when I kept harping on intentional murder, that's what AI is calling him, intentional murder, right? Well, what murderer do we know that has premeditated a murder, that has scrambled sheets in his book bag? I don't know what that is, but that has Cheez-Its in a book bag, that have fruits and cups in a book bags, that have a comb with DNA on it, that has pens with fingerprints, that has keys with fingerprints. Let's keep going. And you'll see this is State's Exhibit 69. I'm not 63. Let's go here. Once again, what premeditated murderer that with the intentions of killing would go to a track meet with a receipt from the grocery store with his credit card on it, right? For all of them fools. And I'm talking to the black folks. I'm talking to the black content creators that on TikTok and YouTube, who would go to a track meet with the intentions of murder when you got a receipt with your credit card number on there, or with your fingerprints, pins with your fingerprints. You got a chain with your DNA and your sweat in it. And who would go to a track meet to murder somebody with snacks and other clothing that got your hair fibers on there, your sweat fibers on there, your blood, could be blood, oh, your skin fibers? What are we talking about? Who would go to a track meet with these items in their book bag? Mike Howard, the defense attorney that stood up and said, let's go ahead and sentence Karmelo Anthony. Yes, Mike Howard, who is his defense attorney, stood up and said, let's go ahead and give immediate sentencing. That's how Karmelo Anthony was convicted, sentenced, and transported within the first 24 hours, within 24 hours after being convicted. It was Mike Howard, y'all. They said that he intended to kill somebody when he was sitting in those stands before Austin and them boys even got there. Who would go if he had premeditated the killing of Austin Metcalf? Why would he even go there with this stuff? And when he ran away, why would he even come back on the track? That means he could have hopped in his car and kept going. I rest my case. Don't forget to hit the like button so that the trolls after this video and the racists after this video, I already know they're going to come and they're going to try to kill the video. So please hit the like button. I'm gonna read the comments about the next 10 minutes and then I'm gonna let y'all go. But who would take this to a track meet that has premeditated murder and had the intentions? And he was so polite to the cops. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. No, ma'am. And he cried. I told him not to put his hands on me. Wow, y'all. Thank y'all so much for all the love in the comments. Wow. I can't even get to the bottom of this. Wow. Wow. Okay, hold on. Wow. Okay. Oh, man. Hold on, let me. Wow, I can't even get. I can't. Wow. Thank you for the. Wow, thank you so much for the love, Eric. Wow. Free Karmelo Anthony. Free Karmelo Anthony. Free Karmelo Anthony. I'm not even a forensics expert, and I did better than Mike Howard. I forgot he didn't even call no forensics expert. Oh my gosh, that is a tough muscle to get into. It was. They still popping in. Maybe Karmelo didn't know the knife was in his bag until. Listen. Wow, I'm glad you brought that up, but you must have missed the point where I demonstrated where Anthony was hit. I'm gonna say where Austin was hit. Where Austin was hit. Have I passed it? Even experts that's not part of this case, they saying that it is a strange angle. Even if Karmelo Anthony was in a headlock, bent down or standing up, his arms couldn't go that way, to the left or the right. Just sit down and demonstrate all the possibilities that Hunter, even if Hunter was and stood in front of him as the 50 people that actually saw the videotape, they said that Hunter and Austin was in front of him. So even if Austin and Hunter, I'm Karmelo Anthony, I'm sitting down, and I got these two people up in front of me, I still couldn't make that angle. If I had the knife, I would have to hit up straight and then try to get away. Even if I was left-handed, I couldn't hit at that angle. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And where's the blood? Karmelo Anthony is not that fast to escape blood splatter. This is why I think while they was hitting on Karmelo Anthony, somebody came from the back and crossed Austin's shoulder and delivered that hit. Based off that angle, this is the actual picture. Based off that angle, I think somebody came across and delivered the hit just like this. Let me see, left. Yeah, somebody had to come across his right shoulder, if I'm looking at this right, and delivered the hit. Everybody is saying, all the forensics people that is not part of this case, that is at an awkward angle. That's why I think somebody came across the shoulder and did this right here. Because Karmelo Anthony bending down in a headlock, I can't reach your chest. I'm going to hit at your thighs, your legs, your pelvic, or maybe your stomach. But I can't get up that high. He was 6 feet. And Karmelo Anthony, let's say here, if he was 5'8" and you're sitting down, let's just say he was 3 feet sitting down. You think bent over in the headlock, I can reach up 4 feet and strike him in the chest? Y'all, this thing ain't adding up. This thing ain't adding up. Come on with it. Come on with it, Free Talks. Come on with it. You can see Karmelo being jumped right. Right, exactly. We talked about that Reese's Cup. I like that name. We talked about that. Y'all, hold on. Let me go back to the rest of the record. I don't want to make it long because I want everybody to go back and give time to this. Let's go back to the rest of the record. And I can't blow it up because StreamYard, I can't get to it. It went back down. But zoom in on the photo. Hold on. Let me see if I can share mine. You can actually see Karmelo Anthony face beat up in the arrest record. Let me try to, because StreamYard is acting funny right now. Let me go ahead. Let me see him. Let me blow this up and then I'll share my screen. He had bruises in his face. I think when he got to the prison, they had to take the actual photo, which I'm pretty sure his lawyer is going to get. But the picture that they showed to the public, they airbrushed it, they corrected it. Hold on, let me show you what we saw in the arrest record. Look at his face. Look at the side of his cheeks. I think he even got a cut by the nose. Look at the top of his lip on the same side of this face. And y'all, because the face is so dark over here, he could have been also had bruises over here, but we definitely know he got hit on this side of the face. And look at all of the stuff. Look at all of the swelling right here. Under the eye, look at the nose, and look at the top lip good. They airbrushed everything they could regarding the photo that they showed the public. But see, they can't manipulate the real photo behind the scenes that Collin County thought that they had got rid of and buried, because they never thought that this case would get that much publicity. But y'all know, when they gave the public that photo, Collins County was laughing. Oh, they was laughing. Oh, can y'all imagine the laughter? Oh, they say, oh, that was a good, whoever edited that photo. Oh, you were good. Y'all, they was laughing how that young boy got beat up. They tried to hide the fact of the bruises on his face. He got wailed. But his defense attorney, Russell Wilson, oh, Justin Moore, Brooke Claus, trust me, they already got these photos. And you know why? Once again, if you didn't catch the beginning of this live, I like the fact that they haven't said nothing. In 6 days that we know of, that they've been on this case, ain't nobody said nothing. That means they are crossing every T dot and every I. They haven't said nothing. And that's how you do it. Just remain silent. Because whatever they doing behind that scenes, they got the mainstream media. They nervous. They got the racists nervous. Now, I will say to all of the people from the white community that's actually coming to our channels and watching our videos, thank you for having an open mind, because it is some of you out there. It definitely is some of you out there. But for all them racists and haters, listen, they can show them the real video, the real photo. They're going to twist the narratives. We're not worried about that side. We're not worried about those people. We're worried about the people that actually want the truth in this case. Karmelo Anthony, based off the arrest record. Hold on. If you don't believe me, here's the arrest number. Here's the incident number. Here's all the information. Here's the arresting officer, Cortez. So now we know the male that was walking Karmelo Anthony to the case, to the car, his name is Cortez, Eduardo Cortez. And the female that was with him was Allison Riki, however you pronounce her name. So this is real. So this picture here is real. What they gave us out in the media was doctored. So it is what it is. You can see, yes. Also, with ICE to say you don't know, Hunter is the hothead with low input. Yes, and that's why I said I think somebody came across the back of him and hit him right there in the chest. Cause Eddie, I'm pretty sure Eddie had something on his clothes. That's why he put off those clothes. He had to get out of that. He had evidence on his clothes, and I'm gonna say Hunter, because your brother is being rushed to the hospital. Why do you have to go home and change clothes, if I'm hearing the story right? Allegedly, right? But I'm gonna go back to those testimonies. I'm into those interviews because I think I know what I'm talking about. But why not go straight to the hospital? But I don't want to give up on Eddie yet because his last name is Hispanic. But with white children, I'm easy to give up because God don't like Esau nowadays, so I shouldn't. But Eddie could have been threatened. Well, if Eddie was threatened, he need to start singing like a canary now. Eddie, I'm going to say this, Eddie, with you being friends so close with Karmelo Anthony, everybody's going to point the finger to you because you lied on the stands most definitely when you said you didn't even know Karmelo Anthony. So Anthony, you need to go ahead and pick up a phone, call a 800 hotline, get in contact with somebody and be the first one to ask for immunity and sing like a canary. You need to sing like a canary. I'm so serious. Absolutely. Who said Karmelo had a two? Karmelo said he had a two. I got you, Pink. Oh, it must be somebody up in the chat. Well, based off that audio that I played, if that was true, but that's why I said allegedly. But Hunter lied. His brother didn't die. You're right. He showed it. He showed it. It was a little yes. The dream team going to eat. Oh my gosh. Yes. Hunter pretty much hysterical the entire time. Remember, he was the emotional twin. And y'all, if they were bullies, like everybody said and reported that they were, what if it was another student under that tent that saw the perfect opportunity to get back because they said that those Metcalf brothers was bullies? What if somebody got mad because Hunter or Austin bullied somebody that they know and they wanted to take revenge, and that was just the perfect opportunity to get back, come across the shoulder and hit him right here? Y'all, at the angle of the knife wound. Let me go ahead and take this off right here. At the angle of the knife wound. There is no way Karmelo Anthony made that angle. There is no way. Megan and Jeff are poor. Yes. Yes. Johnny Crocker said, oh, and you know what? God, I'm glad you brought that up. There is somebody on the Karmelo Anthony team that actually worked with Johnny Cochran. I forgot who that was. There is somebody on Karmelo Anthony team that worked with Johnny Cochran. Hold on. Let me see if I can put this up. And if y'all don't know who Johnny Cochran is, oh my gosh. I may have some young viewers in this room. Woo! Johnny Cochran. Let me see if I try to go through it real fast. Let me see Johnny Cochran. There's somebody on this team that worked with Johnny Cochran. Okay, I don't see nothing for Russell Wilson. Let's see, Gary Bledsoe. No. Michael Ware. Brooke, no, I read her already. Sean. I don't see nothing under Sean. But hey, let me go ahead and read Justin Moore, because I don't see Johnny Cochran in here, but I need to go ahead and do my research. But guess who he did? Here we go. Justin Moore is a trial lawyer focused on criminal defense, post-conviction advocacy, and complex litigation, right? His work includes state and federal clemency matters, advocacy related to the pardons of Marcus Garvey and Larry Hoover, clemency, and also involvement in the efforts to overturn Crystal Mason's voter fraud conviction. He has represented clients in high-profile criminal and civil rights matters, including securing their acquittal of a teenage charged with and falsely accused of capital murder. Come on, Justin Moore. Come on, Justin Moore. But I got to do some homework. There's a Netflix document in a minute. Okay. Thank you for that, Austin. Hey, who? Listen. I know Karmelo Anthony didn't do it. Austin, yes, Metcalf, yes. He did say that, and he's definitely lied. Free Karmelo Anthony. Austin definitely lied. Because I read the whole entire arrest record that says nothing about the brother was holding the brother or nothing. Ineffective counsel, come on with it. Look at him, not the kid. Yes, I know who you're talking about. Oh my gosh, I brought him up at the beginning of the series. But yeah, he only got, as you said, 5. Yes. And Karmelo Anthony was not even, y'all, listen, this thing finna get thrown out so much. Nah, I don't think any is the poker, because the brother said in the interview it was a mistake. He did say it was a mistake, and then he cut it off. Hunter, I know exactly what interview you're talking about. He tried to kill Anthony. I do believe that. I do believe that. And probably that's why Hunter, and I think that's what the other vessel was talking about, that's why he was crying hysterically. And that's why he had to go home and change his clothes, because he couldn't go to the police and say, yeah, I fatally stabbed my brother, but he wasn't the intended target, officer. I promise you he wasn't the intended target. I was trying to actually stab Karmelo Anthony. Y'all, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Is that what happened? Is that what happened? He went, so Hunter had the knife because they were standing beside each other according to the original 50. Austin and Hunter was standing in front of Karmelo, a friend and a friend on this side. They started pushing and hitting him. Boom, 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 boom. And then if I'm Hunter, I'm going to take out of the weapon to strike Karmelo, but he moves too fast and probably get pushed because it was all the pushing, and I accidentally, boom, hit Austin in the chest. Hold on. If I'm swinging to hit Karmelo and I'm pushed, oh my gosh, y'all, hold on. Austin, Hunter could have got pushed accidentally towards his brother and struck him in the chest at that angle right there. Okay, y'all. I'll talk to you later. That's why he had to go home and change his clothes. Because when the blood came out, the splatter came out, it got on his clothes because he was dripping and everything. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Free Karmelo, free Karmelo. Y'all, thank you so much for the love and attention. Thank y'all so much. We gotta go. We gotta go. Thank y'all. I gotta go. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, Vestas. Whoo. All right, Vestas. I think that's all my slides. I'll talk to you later. Okay.